Many salutations to viewers and coins of the vault alike. I am Tatsumari, the self-proclaimed keeper of MapleStory lore. There are many who do it, but I am the only one who does it like me. Ha 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 ha! So tonight, we are making you, the viewers, the star of the show. Now, being that we're doing both, having this both on YouTube and also on Twitch right now, most of what I have set up is over for Twitch right now. I still haven't figured out how to kind of make it work for YouTube right now, but for the YouTube audience, if you do want to get in on this, you can, put a thing in the chat and ask me about it, and we'll see if we can kind of make it work. But, again, like I said, tonight, we are you, the viewers. You are the star of the show, where I'm going to be reading up to 1,000 words of a story you read. Now, there are, over on the Twitch side of things, there are other rewards where I will read more of a story in a given for a given reward. But for tonight, it's just going to be 1,000 words of something you wrote, whether it's an excerpt from a story you wrote, or something you came up with on the fly. Just roughly 1,000 words of something you wrote live on stream. However, before we get started, there are a few rules that I would like you to keep in mind. So let me get out here in the yard. Oh, and while we're waiting for submissions, this over here in the background is, for those of you on YouTube and those of you on Twitch, that up there, that is what I'm going to be working on while we're waiting for submissions. So, first things first, I would like to go over the rules for the submitting before we just have the whole thing just flooded with links for submissions. First and foremost, for those of you guys who are on Twitch, you're going to be using the excerpt reading for fun for 300 scales on the channel rewards to make sure that your submission is put into a queue so that I don't miss it. After redeeming this reward, send me a Google Docs share link or a Royal Road or archive of our own or, wherever, Inkit, Wattpad, wherever you happen to be posted. Send me that link and I will check it out. Funnily enough, if you follow me over here on Twitch, you will instantly get the needed 300 scales to redeem this reward. I'm sure it's nothing. Rule 2, I will read roughly 1,000 words of your story. Like, if you, submit the whole thing, I will read roughly 1,000 words of it. If it is way over that limit, I will highlight roughly 1,000 words of that thing. And if your submission is under 1,000 words, don't worry about it. And then if it is slightly over, as long as it's kind of within about 30 words of 1,000, I'll work with it. And if your submission is longer, but you still wish to have it read, there are other Twitch rewards that you can redeem to get that will allow me to read more of the story, and they come with other goodies as well. For those of you on YouTube, again, message me here in chat, and we'll see how we can make it work. Rule 3, keep your submissions around the PG-16 levels and kind of within the TOS of both Twitch and YouTube. I don't want to get banned, and I'm pretty sure you guys don't want to ban me either. At least I hope so. Rule 4, these readings are not, and I repeat, are not an alpha or a beta read, nor are they a critique of the content. These readings are for fun and will be read as is. Also, if English is not your first language, don't worry. I will, try to go through them and kind of make sure that they get read and will still kind of make sense. So don't worry about that too much. And rule 5, if you are not here in the stream, I will not read it out loud. One, because if it's a fantasy story or maybe even a sci-fi story, sometimes there are words that are a little more complicated that I will need some help with their pronunciation. That way I can get some immediate feedback on exactly what's going on. For the YouTube audience, because of the way things are working, unfortunately, it will be a little bit of lag between the time that I ask the question and the time you answer it. So it's just the way things are. And also, so that way you guys can hear the story brought to life live. So, yeah, other than that, that's pretty much all I have to worry about. So, Last thing I was going to say is that you guys can submit, for those of you on Twitch, you can submit at any time. There is no, like, one particular time to have something submitted. You can have it done at any time. There is no, interrupting me or having something gonna stop or anything. This is all for you guys. But, like I said, for the time being, while we're waiting for submissions, I will be doing some editing while we're waiting for submissions. So, let me see. You know what? I need to do a quick thing on my side because it's a little... I'm still trying to figure out this whole multi-streaming thing, so give me just a moment here, my dear people. We are going to we're going to figure this thing out eventually. All right. So, other than that, how is everybody doing? Hopefully you are having a good evening. Oh, that's not what I wanted. Okay. Let's see. There we go. This is what I was looking for. Okay, can I exit this? Yes, I can. All right. So we're going to put this... Let's see. Can we put this somewhere right about there, I think? Yeah, okay. That seems to work. Yay! Alrighty. So, let me... Now, for those of you who are... Oops, that's not what I wanted. Normally, I would be having some music playing in the background. However, due to the fact this is also being played on YouTube, I don't want to run into any copyright issues. So, as soon as I can find it, I will share the link with you guys of what... Oh, you know what? I know what I'm going to do. Okay, give me a second here. There we go. All right. So, for both of you guys, Rip Edits, hello! How you doing? If you guys would like to listen along with me, this is the playlist that I am using for music. You guys can check it out, and the particular video in this playlist that I am listening to is called World's Most Emotional Music 2-Hour Epic Music Mix Volume 2 by Epic Music World. That is the particular video I'm listening to in this playlist if you would like to listen along. As I am doing editing over here. All right, let me bring this back up and doing this over here. All right. Oops. No, that's not what I wanted. Oh no, exited. All right, Rip, that's okay. My Spanish isn't exactly that great either, but hopefully you will have a good time no matter what. All right. All right, so I got to bring this back up. Give me a second here. Alrighty. There we go. This is what I wanted. Yay! All right. Now we're cooking with gas over here. Come on. Why are you being stupid? Okay, so for my Twitch audience, there is an ad that's going to be playing soon. But for my YouTube audience, you should still be okay. You should still be here. But yeah, we're just going to be hanging out here doing some edits. And like I said, if you guys want to listen along with me with music, you can use the link to listen to some music that I am listening to while I'm editing. So yeah, we'll have ourselves a good old time while trying to stay out of trouble. All right. Okay. All right. What else am I supposed to do with me? Oops, that's not. This is the one I wanted. Okay, none. Oops. Voice sounding as if it would break at any moment. Well, you know what? There's one last thing I gotta do. So give me a second. I gotta hide this for a minute. All right. So all right. Okay. Oh. There we go. Okay, now I should have it back. Hopefully it works now. Let's see. Okay, so let's see. Does this work now? Nope. Doesn't quite work. Oh well. For now, I'll just see if I can still make it work the way I have been. Oh well. Alright. On to some more editing! Okay. Alright. Okay. All right. Hug and pulling his head down, shoulder, his careful not to crush her. Lily and may be a different person now. Does not mean you can't win her back. Try to learn who this new Lily is. Perhaps that will work better. She whispered as Matthew stood, wiping a tear from his face. Oh, you know what? There's a couple things I gotta do, so I gotta hide this once again. No! All right. All right. Let me see. Here we go. My lady, oh my gosh, it's a werewolf. And then she turned and showed me her full moon. Well then. Okay. Well, tell you lady, I said hi. And how you doing? Just for kicks? How's your evening going? Hopefully everything is going hunky-dory. Alright, that should do it. Cool. Alright, now let's get back to it. Let me bring this back up. Okay. Alright, cool. That's cool. And if you don't mind me asking, where are we watching from? Just for kicks? Don't have to be very specific, or you don't have to say it all. You know, internet safety is still a thing. His father. Actually, you know what? Let me try this. There we go. That seems to work a little better. South Carolina. Okay. Well then. You're way late. Hopefully you had a good haul of candies and fun this evening. It says nodded. Putting setting hand on his shoulder. 42nd best education in the States. uh, I feel you there, dude. I feel you there. So on that note, well, maybe not on that note, but on a side note, let me say that. um, have you or do you work on any stories of any kind? Do you write? Do you of the sorts? And if so, what's your latest project? If you care to share. Communion, I write every day. Okay, that's cool. That's cool. So like I would say maybe like a local comedian in your area, or are you kind of working your way into the larger scene, bits, skits, and jokes. Okay, all right. A slight nod. Nodded in return. Shifting the weight of sword of the high rope. Rowan. And I was out of Tampa. I have a radio show in the midst of a Roku deal. Oh, nice! Nice! Very nice! Hopefully that goes, the hell? I can words. Hopefully that goes well for you, man. Sounds like sounds like fun. Let's put it that way. No. A while later. He arrived on Rian, walking through the fields. The once empty fields surrounding the village, now teeming with locals once more. I read at least 10 jokes a day to help other comedians punch up acts, as well as helping write pilots. Okay, that's cool. Pilots such as in like TV show pilots? Is that kind of what you're talking about, or like maybe some starters for other comedians in their acts and whatnot? From a semi-prolific writing family. Okay. All right. Cool. Cool. Very cool. All right. Nice. Any that, like, are we maybe for, like, indie creators or anything on, like, on the big screen as of yet? I haven't watched TV in a long time, so I'm a little behind in exactly what's out there. Oh, that's not what I want. This is what I want. There we go. Some have recognized him, shaking his hand in thanks. Oops, thanks. Welcoming. Why do I have 1,000? Oops. That's something I don't need to worry about. Other writers pay me as others help them write for shows. Okay. Not bad. Very cool. Let's, I know you can't, it's not done over here on YouTube, but over here on Twitch, we'll get some hearts in the chat going on. Yay! I think the YouTube one has a slightly different thing. Yeah, we'll get these hearts in the chat for you. For instance, the shows typically have 20 or more writers. I'll also pay others users. Okay, that's cool. I got you. His return to Ossyria. Once within oops. Didn't take him on to find Lillian, making the ring on his finger feel heavy and much colder than realized. Oops. Feel. I'm just a comedy nerd that found my way into a good networking group. All right, that's cool. Yeah, most of the writing I'm usually doing over here, I usually kind of stick to the, shall we say, the fantasy side of things. What I'm currently working on, my quote-unquote baby of a project, is a long-running fanfiction that I started in 2011 based on the game MapleStory. I don't know if you've ever heard of that or know what it is. That's beside the point. It's like I said, it's a long time running story. It's probably gone through maybe 4 or 5 or 2 or 3 rebrands and 4 or 5 rewrites so far. I've currently finished up writing, going through, kind of sort of editing. I have to go back through it some more. There's some mistakes I found again. I've finished the first book of that. of which is on Inkit and Wattpad if you want to check that out. It's called MapleStory the Novel. I finished the first book called Sacred Tears. I'm working on putting up the second book called Guardians. And if you want to check out everything that is released so far, you can check it out both on fanfiction.net or Archive of Our Own of the same name, MapleStory the Novel. The latter two have everything up to the fourth book, which is what I'm currently working on, Legends of Ossyria. So there is Sacred Tears, Guardians, A New Dawn, and Legends of Ossyria, which I'm currently working on right now. And it's a biggin. I do have a few other stories, original stories that I had working on in the background, but I don't know if I will ever get any of them published, just because of the landscape of everything. There's just doesn't seem like, unless you're writing basically Gooner material, that you're really not going to get anywhere. Suranova! Welcome. But, yeah, for the most part, I really like where my strength seems to lie in the fantasy genre of things. Stylings of the fantasy? Like, you mean like subgenres? Is that kind of what you mean? Setting? Semi-original world of, I guess you could call it, Final Fantasy-esque. I like maybe even like new style medieval, I guess. I don't know how you would say it. Just like take medieval and put it in with a modern spin, I guess. Still has armor, still has magic, still has mages and knights and all this different stuff, but it's set in the world called, well, depending on which book you're in, it's either set in the world called Ossyria or Ossyria. Planet, realm. Yeah. Again, depending on which book you're reading, it's either Ossyria or Ossyria. There's a whole... You'd really have to kind of read the books to figure out, kind of get the whole backdrop to that. And yeah, that's kind of... I haven't really thought about it much. I know, I'm a terrible writer. All right. I mean, like, yeah. I guess you could say it's like fantasy adventure kind of deal. But, for lack of better terms, you could almost parallel it with like Sword Art Online kind of deal, where it's like a little bit more modern, but it still has like a medieval feel to it kind of deal. Or maybe even Final Fantasy 7 specifically. That kind of look and feel to it, I guess you could say. Dimensional? Kind of. It's hard to describe without giving too much away. That's the hard part. At least off the top of my head. It does deal with a massive time loop if that helps any. Probably not. But it does deal with a massive, and I mean absolutely massive, time loop. That when it's all said and done, I still have 2 more books that I would like to write. That, depending on how you see it, the first book is also the last book. Yes, I have most of it set up that way, to work that way. Took a while to get there, but I do have it set up. Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, the way I have it written so far is... So, well, let's see if I can make it as simple as possible. The game... Pause. Let me try this again. The game MapleStory, it's a computer game, it's an MMORPG, and it's based in a world called, shocker, Maple World, which the entirety of that world is kind of a more, like if you were to bring medieval times into modern era, and they have knights or warriors, they call them warriors, they have archers, they have magicians, they have pirates, they call them thieves, which are really kind of like more like rogues or even ninjas. And then they have a ton of other classes that go off of that. But they all have kind of like a medieval feel with a modern twist, so to speak. A little bit more on the, sometimes even like the impractical side of fantasy, where, you have your knights that have like absolutely like gigantic shoulder pads and like big, huge, bulky armor, and then you have your willowy and thin and beautiful mages of both kinds, of every kind. You've got your kind of your slender archers, which are like true archers. They aren't like what's his name? The guy from Lord of the Rings. I'm drawing a blank here. Dang it. Legolas. There we go. Legolas from Lord of the Rings. I don't know if you've seen that. That's more like a ranger, but these are like more so actual archers, where they just have either a bow and arrow, or they use a crossbow. You have your pirates with... Well, look it's a fan fiction. Honestly, the fan fictions are, at least this particular one, isn't meant to be published. It's meant to just for the love of the craft, really. The other stories I could probably sum up a little bit better, but I haven't touched them in a while, so I don't remember what they all are off the top of my head. But this is when I am writing, it's just for the fun of it. So far, I am not writing for publication as of yet. And yeah, you and I live in very different worlds. I mean, yeah, I absolutely love the at least the story that I'm working on right now. I want to finish it, but again, at the same time, it's a fan fiction. There are all kinds of barriers to go through to try and even consider or even have a hint of consideration for any kind of publication deal. You know, there's just I don't want to go there. This is just a story for a story's sake. And if people like it along the way and like to read it along the way, great. Oops. Dang it. Could feel someone watching her. Set down the crate. She carried. Oops. And brushing her long white hair out face to see Matthew near the outskirts. Now, sitting in the shadow of her house. Oh, I hate when that happens. Alright, as she set the crate she carried down and lowered her face. With a glance around her, so, oops, Matthew standing in the shadow of her house. Had to admit, he was persistent in his approach. Oops. In a way, she felt sorry for him. Okay, there we go. So, oh, sorry, I meant to say something, but Supernova, how you doing this evening? Hopefully everything's going all right. Standing shadows like that makes you look like a stalker. She chuckled Oops. Okay. Oops. This grin appear on his face. Come. Closing the distance. Not stopping. Just as he was about to cross into the light. Worried that she would see his actions poorly. Okay, there we go. I'm not going to chase you off if that's what you're worried about. Lillian called, beckoning him over. She turned to re-enter her house. Came by just to check up on you. It's been a couple of months since you were released from Omega Sector. Oops. Since your release from Omega Sector, Matthew called, standing at the door while leaning on the threshold, watching her. Oops, here we go. There we go. Here we go. Reach for another crate and load it with various items. Don't worry, Jest. It's all good. So yeah, like, I just... Needs power. Need power. But yeah, as far as kind of going on your earlier comment of saying I haven't been able to do a pitch for funding, yeah, I honestly, I don't think I'll ever get to that level. And really, it just seems more of a hassle than it really... it seems more like just a trap to... I mean, again, take this from just my perspective. It just seems like a trap for other people to get ideas that I have worked on that are now no longer my own, that I can no longer use. So that's why I haven't really practiced on the whole, elevator pitch thing. If I thought about it, I could probably come up with something, but I am not very practiced in it. Losalor! Welcome, welcome! And... Okay, alright. Yeah, I just... Like I said, I am not used to that world at all. So... That's really kind of where it comes from. And for those of you who hear names, if those of you on YouTube, if you hear me say names that you don't see in the chat, those are on my Twitch chat. And then those for you in the Twitch chat, if you hear me say names from YouTube, those are from the YouTube chat. So, back and forth a little bit. But Losalor, how you doing? The news of my demise was greatly exaggerated. So, you're the punk I've heard about. See. Thanks for that. I may not remember you. You seem like someone cares. Okay. Yeah, it's fine, Jest. It just I'm experimenting right now with doing a duo stream right now. I haven't fully committed to the dual streaming yet. This is I'm still kind of just dipping my toe in it right now. But who knows? We'll see. And mostly for the way... okay. Yeah, most of the reason why I do some of the... I have Twitch as my main platform is because of the chat rewards. And kind of the fanfare that you can get out of the chat. It's a little easier to do. Whereas the YouTube one, it's not quite as... what's the word I'm looking for? Doesn't have quite as much fluff, I guess you could say, as Twitch does. But that's really kind of the reason why I kept Twitch as my main and then YouTube as my secondary. But yeah, that's kind of really the deal with it. What's going on there? All right. Let's see. What was I doing? Well, Twitch more so has... It's kind of been migrating away from gaming a lot more. When Twitch first started, it was more so it seemed like it was more so a gaming platform. And then it had some people that did some other kind of streams where now gaming is almost like in the minority of it. I mean, it's still a good chunk of the content that's on Twitch, but it's not known as much for that anymore. smiled, making Matthew's chest feel tight, pulling his arms tighter and lowering his head to whisper to himself, if only you could remember. What do you say? Lillian asked, startling. Oops. Matthew, when he looked up to see his tall, oops. Standing before him. Oh, nothing. Just talking to myself. Well, more not necessarily what I do, but more so how much I did. If I tend to eat too much, it feels like it kind of hampers the creative bug a little bit. But on beyond that, not really. At least I haven't paid close attention to it. Let's put it that way. Though I am getting kind of thirsty now that you mention it. He fibbed, catching himself from falling down the step outside the front door. Ian smirked, chuckling under her breath and carrying the crate to the pile of others waiting outside. So, are you and Lillian doing some spring cleaning or something? Matthew asked, to break the odd silence. Just some odds and ends. Would you give me a hand with a dresser? It's a bit too heavy for me. you help me with a dresser? It's too heavy for you. Too heavy. You? Oops. Writers change temperature, sleep deprivation, stimulants, depressants, fasting, all kinds of chemical intake to help their creative revelations. I don't really have a thing that like sparks the creative per se. Most of the time it's just, at least for me, it's just kind of sitting down and starting to do something that actually helps me kind of get the stuff flowing again so I can work on it. And sometimes I'll go back and read what I wrote before, and it's like, okay, now I'm back. All right, away we go. But I'm kind of like a lithium battery with this kind of stuff. I'll go and go and go, but when I'm out, I'm done. There is no, like, trying to get it back. Once I'm out, I'm done. I'm dead. Matthew laughed. Following her inside. To said dresser. Not heavy, just awkward. Between the two of them, he easily carried it outside, sitting next to the crates. When Luann caught sight of a tall man dressed in a black coat with long midnight hair, secured with a long blood red bandana. All right. So, for those of you that are my Twitch audience, there is a ad break coming up. It's going to be taking a little while longer until it actually gets here. But I am getting thirsty now that Just for Kids over here on YouTube has made mention of said things that like can alter your creative flow and stuff like that. I'm getting pretty thirsty. So I need to go fill up my water bottle. So what I'm going to go ahead and do, I will put this on a little bit of a break. And when we come back, then we shall do some more writing. And I will, for the Twitch audience, I will go ahead and run the ad break. And we shall be back in a few minutes. So don't go anywhere. We shall be right back after these massages. All right, Coins of the Vault, writers, and everybody in between, I have returned! And yes, just for kicks over here, yes, I am a very boring person. I do not drink and have not drunk alcohol my entire life. Yeah, I am a very boring person, but, you know, what you gonna do, right? And yes, it's quite literal actual water. Part of the reason why I haven't touched alcohol is I've seen what it's done to family members of mine, and I just don't want to have to deal with that in my life. So that's why I've never touched the stuff. But also beyond that, being that I am a small-time voice actor, I've also heard that alcohol can really mess up your vocal cords. So that's kind of why I stay away from it. So yeah, that's, again, yes, I know I'm a boring person, but this is my way. Beside him walked a smaller person with a large backpack and appeared to be fox ears and a tail. On his head, tail trailing. Matthew caught her stare, instantly feeling a stab of fear shoot through him. A look in Lily Ann's eyes was the same one she had looked at him. She gazed at him with the day his training. Oops. Stared at the man, the tall man. Don't worry, creative. You actually haven't missed any submissions yet. Just been chatting with chat essentially on both the YouTube and the with the YouTube and the Twitch chat at the same time. So that's kind of really what's been happening while I'm doing some editing over here in the background. But you haven't missed any stories yet, as of yet, creative. What's that? Yeah, I'm kind of experiencing with it, experimenting with it. Recently, I've had, thanks to another YouTuber who I did a voice for. Some of you may know who she is. Some of you may not. Her name is Scribbler, I think. Let me see. Let me look her up real quick. You are the first creative. Yeah, her channel is called Scribbler Productions. She is a pretty big My Little Pony YouTuber, and yes, I'm a fringe fan, shall we say, of that. But there was some voices I did with her, and she labeled me as a collaborator on one of her projects because I did a voice with her. And I recently had a major influx of coins to the vault over on YouTube. 5S Study Studios, welcome. How you doing? But yeah. And like I said, I actually, quite literally, in the space of about a week and a half, I went from 171 to 200 and, now that I look at it, 272 coins of the vault. But, yeah, at least it was a pretty big influx of means, so I figured, might as well do something over on YouTube, kind of. I have, speaking of which, I did finally manage to get all of the Luminous storyline for MapleStory Tales. So I am working on putting that story together, and I should have that story, or that storyline, up, at least part 1 of that story, up on YouTube soon. I am working on MapleStory the Novel, Sacred Tears, Chapter 22, Part 3. It's a little bit more involved this time around, so it's going to take a little while for the voice actresses to get their voice lines done. But that stuff is coming. I just haven't done anything a while in my YouTube channel. So, Scribbler, if you're out there, if you ever see this, I owe you a big thanks for all the big influx of people. Oh, nice. What's your favorite version to play? Or are you playing the current version, which is 5th edition? Maybe even the 5.5 version. It's either 5.0, maybe it's even 5.5. 3.5. Yes! Yes, a fellow 3.5er. That's my favorite version. Actually still am, kind of not, kind of am, creating a MapleStory homebrew in the 3.5 rule set. So, maybe one day. I'm still trying to play test it. There's still a bunch of other things that I gotta make. Above all the books. Yeah, I think, like, the current version, I want to say is like 5.5 kind of deal, but I'm not too familiar with the modern D&D one. I actually do run a campaign for a bunch of friends of mine as DM, but they are more familiar with the 5e 5th edition than I am. As far as I know, like, everybody treats 4th edition like it doesn't exist. I don't really know all the rule set or like all the downfalls of why 4E was so bad, but I have no opinion on it because I don't know anything about it. But between 3.5 and 5E, I prefer 3.5 myself. But I composited 4E and 3.5 when I played it. Okay. Yeah, 5E is a little more... is a little less customizable. At least in my experience, it seems like 5E is more focused on the roleplay aspect of it rather than the character creation. Whereas 3.5 is more closer to the character creation than it is in the roleplay. Study Studio, I don't know. Maybe because there's not a lot of people here who are looking for something to talk about. I don't know. This is probably only my third recent stream on YouTube, so I'm probably pretty far outside of the algorithm. So I don't really have a lot of people talking. So that's my only guess. And I think there's only 2 people in chat right now. One of them I think is lurking. The other one is you. And then the rest of the people that are chatting are over on Twitch right now. So it's a split stream right now. Whispered her and absently tucking a strand behind her ear. Lowered his brow. Tapping her arm with the back of his hand. Hey, is there more stuff to out of the house? He asked, directing Lillian, shaking out of her trance. 4E is math heavy. The characters were flavor text with the standard things that were identical in action, but different classes of this. Okay, so all right, so it was basically just different colors of the same flavored lollipop. Is that kind of what it kind of boiled down to? And following him inside, stopping at the door to stare at the man who seemed to be talking to one of the locals. Same lollipop, different color. Yeah. All right. Arranging transport to the Ossyrian Oops. Continent. Hold on. We're on the final of work. All right, nice, creative, cool. Hey, Lily. Coming or what? Don't know what needs to move. Oops. Matthew called from further inside the house. Don't call me Lily. Don't like it and never have. She snapped. Coming inside. Oops. Sound roughly loading another crate with a few dozen books. Then almost was also around long enough that they had expanded so far that you had options wildly separated from each other. If I tried to force everything into bubbles, but failed. But I'm minority of that opinion. Yeah, I can see that, especially if you try to do like if you just look at the classes, because in 3.5 you couldn't really wear anything more than like light armor, I think it was, without taking a penalty on casting spells, like for a sorcerer, a druid, or even a wizard. I could be wrong. I think wizard you couldn't wear any armor whatsoever. But like in 5e now, you could wear full plate armor if you wanted to as a wizard. And also wield a longsword and take no penalties whatsoever. So there is that. But it still kind of suffers the whole same lollipop but different colors, but not like like it actually has different flavors of lollipop this time. It's not quite so samey, but it's still like it is and it isn't quite the same, if it makes sense. I think that was druids. I don't think that was elves. Let me hold on. Let me because I have a bunch of rule books for 3.5. Let me see. Okay. Let me see. Let's see. Here we go. Here we go. Because I don't remember elves having a weakness to iron. Let's see. Okay. Yeah, I'm looking at the 3.5 player's handbook right now, and I'm not seeing where it says they have a weakness to iron. Oh, okay, yeah. I haven't played anything older than 3.5, so yeah, that's probably why I didn't see it. I do know the 3.5 druid has something to do with not necessarily iron, but has a thing to do with metal. Like they can't actually like wield a weapon that's 100% metal or something like that. But as far as older versions, yeah, I haven't played those, so I would not know. Ah, nice. Heavy crate into his arms. All right, let me see. Hold on. Let me see about getting this kind of centered here for you guys with the rules. Because what I see, it should work on the vertical thing, but for some reason it kind of cuts it off a little bit. So I just adjusted the rule box over there so you guys can see it better over on YouTube, on the YouTube side of things. Sorry about that. All right. Grabbing another that had dozens of items from her father's past, including his worn cape. All right. So let's see. How many pages did I do here? Word count. This is 15. Okay. So I still have some room for more stuff on the Shade story. I need some more water in my throat. Oh, okay. I was looking at what you said, creative. I was like, huh? Looks like it was a chat autocorrect. Looks like what happened. All right. So, do I include anything? Oh. Okay, maybe I'll include something from here. Just to kind of break it up. You know what? I'm going to go to the... that's hard to read. Yeah, let's go back to the dark page. Let's see. Can I do... Nope. This? There we go. That's what I want. I was looking for a blue for text, but when I actually make it blue text, it doesn't show up as blue. It shows up as red on the black page, but red now shows up as blue on the black page. There we go. You have to play the game. Okay. At least a month had passed. I'm blue, abba-dee, abba-die. Now watch. Well, I was going to say now the stream's going to get copyrighted, but I don't have it being recorded on YouTube, so what you see here is what you get. Wasn't enough strike. Since the High Guard of Edelstein recruited Duro into their outings. Searching for cells of black wings. Yeah, really. And he enjoyed it thoroughly. Maybe even a little too much. The other members of the High Guard assigned to his squad arrive on the scene just before he executed the last sometimes they would arrive, they would often arrive just before he executed the last of them. Sometimes they arrived too late, finding him holding a corpse and shaking the blood from his mace, ready to reach for another. Duro! How many times have I told you that the High Guard aren't judge, jury, and executioner. We are to apprehend the cell members and bring them to the Empress for their punishment, Claudine scolded. After his return from a particularly bloody outing, Duro threw her back with one of his wings, glaring at her over his shoulder. Oops. I can spell. I can words. My name is Fred Fredburger. And I've told you that I am not part of your high guard. I am... complying with your lead. I am I don't have the resources to track said disciples of my former master. So I follow your intel. You wouldn't understand what it means to lose family and have the ones responsible for it receive justice by allowing them to live. Thoreau answered sharply, walking away as Mestima trotted close behind, jumping on his shoulder until Claudine's voice cut through the air. Why do you remind me of Mira? Look it up if you don't know who it is. Mira. Mira from what? At least what comes to mind, there is about 4 different things that come from Mira. Oh, by the way, welcome. Walu Garcia? I think that's how you say your name. Walayu? K-pop Demon Hunters. Oh, that's why I don't recognize it. Because I have not seen that. I mean, I know of it, but I haven't actually watched it. Oh, she's the chick with the spear, huh? At least I think it's a spear. And if I remind you of Mira, well, I don't have an explanation for you. Oh! Welcome to the vault, Mr. Man. You are the new shiny coin, and I hope you are at least mildly entertained by what you see here from now on. Have a look around and be enamored by the stories that will become legend. Maybe. Walking away, as Mistima trotted close behind. Jumping. As Mistima jumped onto his shoulder. Until Claudia. Claudine's voice cut through the air in an emotional scream. I know what it's like. Those bastards killing my little brother, she screamed tearfully. I am I know over here on YouTube you can't really see it as well, but I am currently editing a story of mine called MapleStory the Novel Legends of Ossyria. Whoa. For the Twitch side, that got a little bit big. Really what I was hoping to do is be able to read some stories of people who have written some stuff. Hence the rules you see in the background. In this little gray box there. But most of it usually happens over on Twitch. But I'm currently working on some editing over here of this story behind me while waiting for submissions. And like I said, most of it usually happens over on Twitch, but, you know, I'm still working on how to figure that out over here on the YouTube side. So that way, if you'd like to have something read, we could do that. So yeah, it's kind of what I'm doing. I'm just kind of wrapping up the last little bit of the stream over here. So, yeah. That's kind of what we're working on right now. That and talking to chat on both sides. Stop his wings twitching. While his hair slowly fell into place across his back. His ruby hair across his back. Then why refuse the revenge you so desperately want? He asked softly. The words might as well have been a shout in the quiet of the garage. Because that would be the easy thing to do. My job is to find out anything I can about them and use it to stop them before they hurt anyone else. Stop them so that no one ever has to go through what I did. So, kinda a sample of what was up to. Crosscast categorizing theatrical cast and a command ringleader theatrical cast and outcast high seas theatrical cast and warcast gladiator / arena champion. All right, Garcia, thanks for coming. Thanks for stopping by. And may Falcor visit you in your dreams. So the past Ragtagger theatrical cast and their cast and resident interpreter reporter witness. Wow, that sounds like a whole barrel of monkeys you're up to, creative. There was much of theatrical cast except the spellcast. Okay, cool. Stitchcast. Okay, so let me see. Let me see if I understand what exactly what you said you were up to. Is this all stuff that categories for classes? That's Are we talking D&D classes? Is that what you're talking about, or is this all for like for theater, like stagehand theater, backstage stuff? I'm just little a little confuzzled. Ah, okay, all right. Because like a lot of the stuff over here where you're talking about, it sounds like stuff that would be done in like backstage theater or something like that. Cast is categories and typecast is class replacing. Ah, okay. All right, because that would be the easiest. Turo shook his head slowly. Then you fight a losing battle, Claudine. He muttered. Leaving for his room. Well, Massima spoke into his ear.
Master Duro, you don't have to stoop to the level of these humans.
Duro said nothing as he stormed through the base until he reached his living quarters, where Mastima jumped off and sat in her little bed with a bright orange blanket.
Granted that you are no longer part of the Black Wings, but neither are you from this world, and you aren't part of... And you aren't part of their high guard. So why do you even listen to that woman's constant nagging?
So, theatrical cast is deception and distraction and awareness levels of class. And I have enough to roll one option. Okay. Cool.
I'm this close to putting my paws...
She held up her paw. She held up her paws. Pause before stopping and looking at them.
I mean, hands. In her mouth and ripping out her tongue myself.
A fraction width between. Well, I was rather than saying that, I just decided to get rid of it altogether because Mastima. I don't know if you have. Well, probably not. Probably haven't seen it because I don't think I have. I think I have the story, but I don't think I put it up on YouTube. Mastima is actually in the game is Duro's lieutenant from like way long time ago. And she was kind of like a cat girl, but she had the ability to turn into a cat. Well, like many hundreds of years have passed in the game, and in order to help herself survive, she kept using her cat form. But in doing so, basically forgot how to turn back into her quote unquote human form. So she's kind of stuck as a cat. Like this, like kind of a cat, kind of a large purple cat with bat wings. That's basically what she looks like. Let me see if I can find a picture of it really quick. Hold on, I need to... There we go. Okay, so... This is the human Mastima. I guess it's not quite... Give me a second here. Whoops. Nope, that's not the right key. Come on. Stop being stupid. There we go. Okay. So this is the human Mestima. And then... this is... As soon as I can get to it. And this is the kitty cat Mestima. So this is kind of what she looks like in the game. She's kind of stuck in her cat, like in the game. She's kind of stuck in her cat form. She can't like turn back into her like her human form. But there are periods where she's able to turn back into her human form, which I've kind of... Oops, that's not... Which I've kind of made it so that that she will eventually be able to like take on her full human form, just because of the way things work out. Like she regained enough of her own power back to where she can now hold her human form. Yeah. That's the story version. That is not the official game version. But that, ladies and gents, Coins of the Vault, is where I'm going to call it for the evening. So, thank you all for coming. I hope you were at least mildly entertained. And I want to give a big old warm welcome to all the new Coins of the Vault over on YouTube. I know we only had one thing over here with Mr. Man. But you are the new shiny coin of the vault, so I wanted to give you a big old warm welcome. Eleanor gives you a nice big old warm welcome. And for those of you who managed to catch the entrance, if you happen to see that Eleanor has a new dress on, yeah, she does. She doesn't have a very big opportunity to often wear it. So this being Halloween, she decided it was a cool time to wear it. So, Ace Final Boss, welcome. And yeah, we're just getting to the end of it, so sorry about that. But if you guys want, you can come back on Sunday at 10:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, where we are going to be doing part 2 of the Moshuan storyline in MapleStory. We did part 1 already, and it was actually a little more heart-wrenching than I thought it was going to be. But we did part 1, and part 2 is coming this Sunday. I did manage to get the character class all the way up to level 200, so that way we have the entire story open for us to go through, so we don't have to do much of the hunting, much of the level grind, and whatsoever. So that will be happening on Sunday. And then on Wednesday, for those of you who are watching on YouTube, over on my Twitch channel, we're going to be having a writing stream where I'm going to be doing some more editing or writing of MapleStory, the novel Legends of Ossyria. I don't exactly know what chapter I'm going to be working on, whether it's going to be chapter 6 or it's going to be chapter 7. Depends on how much I get done over the weekend. But either way, come and check that out on Wednesday, starting at around 4:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. However, due to work, that stream may be happening later in the day, so just keep a lookout no matter where you are going. I will put a community post over on my YouTube channel to let you guys know when I go live over on my Twitch for the writing stream, but yeah, that's pretty much what I got in mind. So I hope to see you guys there. Now, before we go, let me see. Is there anybody else? No, there is nobody. Okay. So yeah, we shall call it here. And like I said, welcome to all the new coins of the vault, and I hope to see you all next time. Oh, and now, with this closing, you'll be able to see Eleanor's new dress. So I hope you like it.
There's a feeling deep inside. Let it be your prayer. Show me the power you can hide.
Thanks everyone for coming to the stream, and I hope to see you again next time. If you want to catch whenever I go live, subscribe or follow to become a coin of the vault so you never miss a thing. Wherever you're viewing from, have a look around my YouTube channel for more stuff, including the audiobooks of MapleStory the novel Sacred Tears, Sly Cooper Rise of Vexen, and Arcane. Each story is fully voice acted with sound effects and background music so that you can sit down and watch or listen to while you go about your day. You can also find all kinds of previous storylines from MapleStory that I've already done. So, until next time, my friends.
Never be afraid to fall.